Howdy y'all, fuzzy biker. We're in Utah somewhere, and look what I got over here. I've got the brand new Royal Enfield Himalayan 452. I got to get used to saying that. We just picked these up this morning. The American release was this morning. We picked them up at 8 o'clock, something like that, 8:30. And these are demo bikes that Royal Enfield has lent me. And I'm not going to give them back. I'm not going to give it back. I'm going to keep it. I don't know what they'll have to say about that, but I have just fallen in love with it. I have just fallen in love with it. I love the old 411. This is more mature, more beautiful, more capable. We did hill. You know what? Let me tell you about the bike first. Okay, so let's start with the engine. It's got a 452 cubic centimeter, single cylinder, dual overhead cam, 4-valve engine, liquid cooled. There's a radiator there. And then it's pumping out about 40 horsepower. It's pumping out about, I think it's 30 foot-pounds of torque, and that's about 40 Newton meters. And it's got this incredibly good, I don't even know how to say it, how to explain it, 6-speed transmission. You know, the old Himalayan was such a tractor in the transmission department. And you learn to live with it, and it works. You know, it worked. It did what it did really well. But this is a modern motorcycle transmission. Finally, you know, it works so well, so absolutely well. It seems a little peakier in first gear. There's a little bit of more of a spread between first and second gear. Although, having said that, we took it on a bunch of really steep, rocky road, you know, a bunch of baby heads and things on it, and the bikes perform fine in first and second gear. The engine is, so far I would say it's just fabulous. Just a thing of beauty, you know, and that's the dead stock system right now. Jumping over to the suspension, that's the next wonderful thing about this. So here again, it's got the 21-inch tire like the last bike, like the 411 did. I think it's a 90-90-21. I can't see a number on it anywhere, but we're going to go with that. How's that sound? But here's the trick. Upside down forks, shielded. They're 43 millimeter. There's 8 inches of travel, so 200 millimeters of travel, just like the old one. But it's a lighter front end. It's a better handling front end, and the shocks are much better. We did a bunch of rut, you know, the baby head roads with the rutting, and we did several miles of that this morning, up and then all the way down, you know, and even downhill. It worked fabulous, you know. So another big improvement. The next would be the brake. It's got a 320 millimeter disc with a dual piston bi-brake caliper. Again, an improvement over the old one. The old one had a 300. So very impressed with all of this. By the way, the forks are Showa forks. Just fabulous. You know, so the engine's great. The front end's great. Let's look at the rear end. So it's got the monoshock rear end again, but there's no shock, no link hanging down below. The link is gone. So you got a little more clearance on the bottom. I think it's actually 1 extra centimeter of clearance. So I think it's 8.7 or 8.9 inches. I can't remember. It's something like that. So it's 230 millimeters. So a little bit more, just a tad bit more. Now I never bottomed out my old one, so there you go. The back tire, it's a 140/80/17. I think the last one was a 120/17. So a little bigger tire. These tires work great on that rough stuff that we were just on. I'm not sure the disc diameter on the back. Looks pretty big. I'm not even going to try to guess. Single piston bi-brake caliper. The shock is fabulous. I've got it on medium setting. Just loving it. Seat height, I've got this in the high setting. I think it's 33 inches in that setting. That's about 840 or 845 millimeters. Now, I want to show you this. The seat is cut pretty steep through here, and that makes the bike, and the bike is very narrow, so it doesn't feel that tall. It just doesn't feel that tall. You know, it's very good to stand over. It's got a low center of gravity, and I'm trying to decide if it's lower than the 411 or not, but it's a very low center of gravity. Next thing is the fuel tank. It's got 4.5 gallons, or about, I think it was 17 liters is what I read. So that's nice. You know, it's a half a gallon more than the last. You know, some people might think that's not a big deal. Well, when you're in the middle of Nebraska and you're trying to find gas, extra half a gallon is the world. So very happy with that. And today we put about, I don't know, 80 or 100 miles on it so far this morning. Most of it on pavement, some of it on gravel, some of it on that baby head road that I was talking about, the rutted mountain road. And it's just been performing fabulous. And I think we're getting good mileage. Gas gauge hasn't moved much at all. So fabulous in that sense. So we've done the back tire, the front tire, fuel. The wheelbase is 1,510 millimeters, and I don't know what that is in inches. I'll put that down below right now. Wet weight is 430 pounds. That's 10 pounds less than the 411. It's an amazing motor. It looks longer. It has a longer wheelbase than the 411, but I think overall it's 2 inches shorter than the 411 if I remember my specs right. LED lights in the front, incredibly bright. That was one of the weaknesses of the old Himalayan, was the headlight was just terrible. LED blinkers, and then coming to the back, these are LED blinkers, and they're also the tail lights, and they're also the stop light, the brake lights. So very happy with that. What else can I tell you about this little hot rod? All kinds of goodies there, isn't it? Oh, let's jump up to the dash. Very good switch gear. This all looks vastly improved. You know, it looks more finished, more modern. We're still trying to figure out the electronics on it. Check this out. Big old Oculus right there. I don't know how big that is. I would say 5 inches, but I'm guessing. So tachometer, clock, an accurate temperature gauge, speedometer, gear indicator in the middle, odometer here, and down here you can put different things down there. You can use this little joystick to, whether you want, you know, your trip 1, trip 2, how much fuel you got, all that neat stuff, voltmeter, neat stuff. Over here it's flash to pass, low beams, high beams, nice brake levers, horn down here, joystick. Now here's a really important one. Here's a really important one. They finally have great blinkers. You know, one of the veins in life to me is you get on a really nice motorcycle and the blinkers work like crap. This one has finally got good blinkers. Now we'll see how that holds up over time, but I like it so far. Over here it's kill switch, run switch, and the start switch. Hazard lights over here, and then down here is a mode button. And I don't know enough about that. We'll do another video where we talk about the electronic parts of it. So far, very impressed with the whole bike. So far, the two or three things that jump out, I'd say one is the engine, fabulous, but even, okay, I don't want to understate the improvement in the engine, but the suspension is fabulous, just fabulous. It's a real jump up. And I didn't think the Himalayan, you know, the stock one was terrible, but this is so much better, you know. And then the next one would be the brakes. It has far better brakes than before. Well, that, my friends, is a very beautiful motorcycle, and I think I'm going to go hop back on that hot rod and keep on rolling. Catch up with y'all later. Life is good. Wahoo! Hey, we are at Flaming Gorge in Utah. So we were in Utah in the beginning, then we went over to Wyoming, where we found some gravel roads, and we went for miles and miles and miles, and amazing views, and just, you know, wow stuff all the way along. And now we're back in Utah, and we just went through the Flaming Gorge. I don't know, words can't explain it. It's just mind-blowing. And this is what we found right here. I hope it's picking up in the camera. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you know, perfect day for this. Life is good. Brand new motorcycles, first ones in the country today, you know, out in the wild. And what a trip, you know. We're gonna have about 300 miles on these today. And we'll probably put another 800 in the next couple days. But so to go from that insane beauty to these motorcycles, another beauty. We have taken these on 2-lane blacktop. We've taken them on single track. We've taken them on gravel roads, kind of a red muddy kind of road. We did some of that. We did you name it, we've done it. Interstate, we even did some interstate. We got some rain, we rode interstate in the rain. Anyway, the bike is handled superbly. This thing it's just a handling machine. The new suspension system, these showy forks in the front. I don't know if this is a showy shock or not, but this new system in the back, the new geometry, it's more comfortable, it's so smooth, the transmission is just a piece of art. You know, it's like a modern Royal Enfield transmission compared to the old Himalayan. Just a real fun bike. You know, on the engine, I'm still trying to figure out how to describe the torque in the engine. It's different from the old engines. It's a little, you know, off, you know, from a dead stop, you have to work the clutch a little bit to get it going, but once you're going, you can do circles, figure eights in first gear and no trouble at all. Plenty of torque, you know, and going down the road too. Just having a ball on this thing. I am thoroughly impressed. So that's about the engine, that's about the suspension, and of course the good look. You know what, we'll talk about the good looks of this thing tomorrow. Let's talk about these good looks. Just absolutely soak that in. Just, Absolutely beautiful, beautiful. Now, if y'all are interested in a motorcycle like this, a near used Royal Enfield, a brand new Himalayan like this, need a Triumph, classic British bite, parts, accessories, thingamajigs, doodads, coats like this wonderful Nervic jacket, probably the best jacket I've ever owned, honestly. You know, we've been through, we were at 10 or 11,000 feet where it was cold. Now we're down here where it's kind of warm, and you know, these jackets have done it all for us. We got caught in the rain. Anyway, if you need any of that kind of stuff, get yourself over to Baxter in the mighty metropolis of Marnie, Iowa, or go to baxtercycle.com. Make sure you tell them Fuzzy Biker, that's me, sent you, and get yourself a ride on one of those hot rods. Isn't that just a beautiful machine? Life is good, my friends. Life is good. Get out and ride. Wahoo! Yippee-yi-yay! Yippee-yi-yo! Down the road we go. Beautiful, beautiful machine.